This is the KhoodeelaarTVChannel television channel being broadcast in the morning of Monday, the 8th of July 2024. We didn't broadcast anything in the last 2 days, I think, mainly because of unexplained, mysterious non-availability of internet connections, which is something I'll be investigating later. So there are 2 days, I think, we haven't broadcast anything, Saturday and Sunday. Now, this is Monday, the 8th of July 2024, and I'm not certain how long this internet connection will be available, but I shall continue to use the length of time that it is available for. The issues that are being obviously in need of examination are the issues that are being thrown in front of the public by the new regime as the government of the United Kingdom, with effect from Friday, the 5th of July 2024. There is only one mention of animal welfare, about the possibility of banning fox hunting for good. Apart from that, there is no reference to the actual individual decisions made by the depraved DEFRA against innocent targets of their cruelty, such as baby angel Geronimo. Baby angel Geronimo manifesto editions are continuing, and the fact that there has been an election on the 4th of July and the fact that there have been manifestos by the participants in that election means that we are able to look at the contents of those manifestos. To what degree they are credible is also going to be analyzed, examined, diagnosed in our world exclusive original broadcasts in due course. The first day the new regime took over, fronted by Keir Starmer, the political murderer of the Labour Party, he said that the regime that he is fronting will deliver a government to serve the people, or government of service, and we shall be looking at all three of those words that are in that particular phrase, because the evidence doesn't show that Keir Starmer really believes in service. Keir Starmer actually is a genetic, to use the word that the former French ambassador to the United Kingdom used against the liar Boris Johnson. It can be used against Keir Starmer as well. He's pretending as if that was not bad enough already. The evilness personified, Tony Liar, whom I first gave the name Liar, B-Liar, in 1997. I think I gave him the name Liar, I think, before the tragedy of, I say tragedy within quotation marks, of the murder of Diana happened, and Alistair Campbell, the liar, gave apparently the phrase for the liar, be liar, to mouth. as a propaganda for himself, the people's princess. Now, Tony Blair has been funded on the record, that is to say, on accessible sourcing of his funding. Accessible, that means that there may be other sourcing that are not accessible, that are hidden, that are not published. But going by even the accessible amounts, he should not be funded at all, because he is a seriously guilty, culpable mass murderer of the Afghan people and the Iraqi people. And there is no sign of any reference to Tony Blair's criminalities and crimes. But everyone knows, everyone who should know, everyone who is knowledgeable about events and things knows that Blair is a criminal, is a war criminal. Now he has the goal to propagate himself as the guru, advising the political murder of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, to effectively become a racist, fascistic government. He says, according to the statements already published at the weekend, that Starmer should give priority to stopping migration and stopping anything that is done in recognition of a society's existence. That is what they call wokeism. Now, Blair is the dystopian continuation of everything that was the worst in the Conservatives' reign of 14 years. On Saturday, in the Murdoch Times, the racist, anti-Muslim, Zionist Matthew Paris published a piece that is headed, "We," that is those who, collectively associate themselves with him, "We got rid of the Tories because we felt poor." Now that is absolutely grotesquely stupid. That has no head, no tails. And yet only on Wednesday, the day before the election, in his column, in his piece in the Times, because he has two pieces, regular pieces that is, in the Times. He may have regular platforms, other platforms on the radio and television, but in the Times he has got two or twice a weekly columns, one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. In the column on the Wednesday, he said he is going to, despite all the things that he has said that the Tories had done wrong, he was going to stick and he was going to behave as a teenager, as he was when he first voted Conservative. Now, this criminal, Matthew Paris, was one of the people who denounced the defeat by the voters, the rejection by the voters of then constituency of Bethnal Green and Bow, of the Zionist Una King at the May 2005 election. And the campaign, KhoodeelaarTVChannel campaign, which actually kept George Galloway in place for 4 years, longer than it should have been, because after the appearance as a fake cat on the Channel 4 program at that time, George Gid Galloway should have been the subject of a recall election. It was us, it was I who took the initiative and prevented the recall election. That would have definitely got rid of George Gid Galloway at that time, because the height Now, when the election was over, and it was quite clear that after Una King was actually thrown out by the electors of Bethnal Green and Bow, there was a quite heated exchange broadcast live on the BBC Newsnight, fronted by the racist Jeremy Paxman. And Paxman spoke to George Gid Galloway, standing apparently somewhere in the constituency. And what happened was that Git Galloway suggested that Jeremy Paxman should actually congratulate him, that is, George Git Galloway, because he, Git Galloway, had won. That was the wrong thing to say, because he hadn't won. It was the voters of Bethnal Green and Bow who refused to vote for Una King, which is what we had said to Una King for months before the election. Because Una King had boasted that her support for the Zionist state of Israel would continue regardless, and that the electors of the constituency she was betraying openly were entitled to throw her out, which was an open invitation. And we would have thrown her out, whatever the list of candidates would appear on polling day. It turned out that George Git Galloway typically was on the lookout for the constituency with the maximum number of what he thought gullible Muslim electors. Now he has exploited the gullible Muslim electors in Bethnal Green and Bow for the first time, and then he has gone to Bradford West, where he did the same thing. And then he pounced on Rochdale, where he did the same thing. That was all three of those pouncing by George Git Galloway were enabled by the stupidity of the leadership of the Labour Party in place at the time. Now, when he got in at the by-election at Rochdale 4 months ago, one of the things he was boasting of was that he would get rid of Angela Rayner. Now, people who were around in the East End of London in the year before the 2010 election took place will remember that, or can remember if they want to, or it can be checked, and this is fact checkable. George Git Galloway has a habit of so pathetically, embarrassingly exaggerating his political importance. I mean, it is always persistently stupid and unjustified by any standard. In 2010, he decided that he was going to contest the next door seat, Poplar and Limehouse, which was going to be contested by the sitting MP, a complete and utter racist moron called Jim Fitzpatrick. And the language that George Git Galloway chose to boast about defeating Jim Fitzpatrick was revived in the aftermath of his election, quote, win at Rochdale about defeating Angela Rayner, of all people. Now, Angela Rayner, I have no idea what Git Galloway has against Angela Rayner. As far as I'm concerned, Angela Rayner could not be politically relatable to George Galloway at all, because until that time, we never heard George Galloway even mention Angela Rayner. Anyway, the way that he predicted that he would get rid of Angela Rayner as an MP was very much reminiscent of the way he said he would defeat Jim Fitzpatrick. And the language is racist because the two of them came from Scotland. And he said, repeatedly, he said that it was the Battle of the Scots, forgetting totally that he was actually talking to people talking about people and about the and yet the media keep giving him platform, not because they shouldn't give him platform at all, but the way the media give him George Galloway platform